We are looking at examining patterns of squares, and this is going to lead us to a new thing called completing the square. Okay? But we have to go back to this to be able to do it. All right. So, when multiplying and factoring, we used an area model to represent our work. You know, we call it the box method a lot of times. We put an x in the 3 here and the x in the 3 here, and we get x squared. X times 3 is 3x. X times 3 is 3x. And 3 times 3 is 9. So I get x squared plus 6x plus 9, right? So why don't you guys practice number 3, 2, 3, and 4? 2, 3, and 4. And we'll go over the answers.
Where did the 6 come from in the first problem?
I added the 3's together. So if we're foiling this, foil
Oh, there you go. There it is. Yes, yes.
x squared, 3x, 3x, 9, x squared plus 6x. Better? Okay, I'm going to give you about another minute or so, and then I'm going to go over this.
Do I have to fill in the box? No. Before.
No. Okay, let's go over this. We should have x5, we should have x squared, 5x, 5x, 25. So it should be x squared plus 10x plus 25. Number 2 should be x and negative 2, x and negative 2. We should get x squared minus 2x minus 2x plus 4. So we should get x squared minus 4x plus 4. And number 4, I should get x and negative 4, x and negative 4, and I get x squared minus 4x minus 4x plus 16. So I should get x squared minus 8x plus 16. Okay, any questions? You want me to go over 3, 2, 3, or 4? Okay, in the above area models, what patterns do you notice along the diagonals of the models? All the same. It's not true. These 2 are positive, these 2 are negative, these 2 are negative, these 2 are positive. So, all the same. In the above area models, how are the numbers in standard form? So, for example, if we've got x squared plus 6x plus 9, and factored form, x plus 3 squared. How are these related? What did we do?
Well, half of 6 is 3 and half of x squared is x.
So if we go 3 times 2, we get 6, and if we go 3 squared, we get 9, right?
Yeah.
Is that true for all of them? Yeah. So if we look at this and we divide it in half, we get 3, and then if we take 3 squared, we get 9. That's really important. So before I move on, make sure you get that. Okay? Half of b squared equals c. Half of b squared equals c. Okay, let's turn it over. Okay. Half of b squared equals c.
Standard form is like x squared plus 3x. And factored form is just parentheses.
Yep. Okay. To the back. All right. So here we've got x squared, 3x, and we want our standard form and our factor form. So what would this have to be? If this is x squared, this is 3x, and this is 3x, we understand that both of these have to be x, right? What do both of these have to be?
3.
And what would I get right here?
9.
9. So I'd get x squared plus 6x plus 9, and my factored form would be x plus 3 squared, right? Those are equal to each other. Okay, let's look right here at 8. What would have to go on the outside in the bubbles, in the circles? And so what would be in this last box right here? So my standard form would be what, guys?
X squared minus 8x plus 16.
X squared minus 8x plus 16. And what would my factored form be? X minus 4 squared. Good. Okay, let's look at 9. If this is 36, what do both of these have to be?
6.
6. Good.
Or negative 6.
Yep, or negative 6. So we get x squared, 6x, 6x. So it'd be x squared plus 12x plus 36 equals x plus 6 squared.
How are you supposed to know if it should be positive or negative?
We'll do it positive for now. It's trying to lead you to something, so it's not like you would do that very often. Okay. What about here? If this is x squared and this is negative 3x and this is 9, what has to go on my outside? X minus 3 on both sides, right? Which would make this negative 3x, which would make my standard form what?
X squared
Minus 6x plus 9 equals, what's my factored form? Yep. Okay, now we're going to get to the whole part of completing the square. All right. So what you'll end up with to do complete the square is like 11 and 12 at the bottom. It's kind of our starting point of complete the square. If I have x squared plus 10x, what would I have at the end? Because half of 10 is,
5.
right? So if I end up with 10x, do we get that both of these have to be 5x? And so if they're 5x, both of these are x, both of these are 5, and this would have to be 25. So that question mark part would be 25, and my new expression would be x squared plus 10x plus 25. Okay, why don't you guys try 12? At least attempt it. Even if you don't understand everything I just said, try it. How would we do that? What do we get? What go in my bubbles?
I got -2 x.
And,
7, -7,
okay, and xn,
-7.
okay. Because it's always half of this. Good.
That's -14.
So x and x gives me x squared. X and 7 gives me negative 7x. X and negative 7 give me negative 7x. Negative 7 and negative 7 make negative 14, right? But what is negative 7 times negative 7?
7 plus -7 is -14, Caleb.
Did you listen to Jaden?
Oh, yeah, see, I was, okay, no.
You
I
were
was
trying to
thinking-
multiply
yeah,
instead of
I was-
add.
Yeah, I was trying to multiply.
Negative 7 times negative 7 is 49. So the missing piece is 49. So my new expression is x squared minus 14x plus 49. Okay, now we're going to do, that's like the start of complete the square. Now we're going to look at an actual complete the square and stuff. You ready? Okay, make sure this is down.
What is one of this? Complete the square, figure it out.
We are going to this one that looks like this.
Oh.
Okay. Alright, so we're looking right here at this funky looking problem. And we're going to kind of describe on this side what's happening.
So for on the side of the triangles, is the A part always gonna be the side, and the bottom always gonna be the B?
B is these two added together. That's A, that's B, and C is always right here. Oh, no. The only important thing is that C is the hypotenuse. Across from 90. Okay, so what happened for this first step? Subtracted 1. Write that down in the description. Okay, so there's a lot going on in this next step. What's happening?
He drew a diagram.
A diagram was drawn. Box method was started. Where we took half of 4x. Okay. We found the factors. And 2 times 2 gave us 4. That's where we put it right there in the bottom. Okay. What happened here? So look, we ended up with this. Then we did this little diagram thing from here to here. What did we do?
You switched the place. Well,
What did I do to both sides of the equal sign? Added 4. The only thing from here to here that's different is there's a plus 4 on both sides. Okay? Now what did we do? So the first thing we did is we went negative 1 plus 4 equals 3, right? Then we factored. Right? X squared plus 4x plus 4 factored is x plus 2 squared.
just 2x to x.
So then what did we do in this next step right here? Square rooted both sides. And what do we do down here? How do we get this 2 on this side to on the other side?
Oh.
Okay, let's turn it over once you've got that written down. So if you're done, look at the back. I want you guys to try this on your own. It tells you what to do. You're actually going to do it on the other side. What? So it tells you what to do on the other side. Try doing it. Once you've gotten all this written down, try doing the other side.
What's the constant? Like 8x, right?
Like 8 is the X is the Everybody's got this? So I can turn it over? So everybody should be working on this, where you've got the description on this side, and you're actually doing the steps on the other.
If you add the opposite, it's not giving.
Mm-hmm. All right, guys, I'm going to start this. So here's my first step. I'm going to change it to 0 equals x squared plus 8x plus 5. That's what it tells me to do first, right?
Yeah,
And then it says subtract 5 from both sides.
How?
So negative 5 equals x squared plus 8x. Add the opposite of the constant, the number that doesn't have a variable next to it. Okay. Now it says put x squared in the upper left corner and split the x's. What's half of 8x? So that's why I get 4x here and 4x here, right? So this must be x, 4, and 4. So what is this bottom piece then? If this is x squared and this is 4x and 4x, this right here is going to be 4 times 4 is? What's 4 times 4?
16.
16. Okay, complete that square. Okay, now I'm going to go back. I've got negative 5 equals x squared plus 8x, and it says to add the missing number, this number right here, to both sides. Plus 16, plus 16. So simplify, negative 5 plus 16 is? 11. And we're going to factor this, x plus 4. Now it says to take the square root. Right? I square rooted both sides? Because I factored this and I know it's right here. Now I'm going to subtract 4, so I get negative 4 plus or minus the square root of 11 equals x. Okay. Who wants to know why we're doing this? Okay. So, we've got x squared plus 8x plus 5, right? Okay. Can I factor that? What two numbers multiply to give me 5 but add to give me 8? Nothing. You want to try to find negative 4 plus or minus the square root of 11 on a graph? So you can't graph it. You can't factor it. You do the complete the square. Okay? Let's try one for your homework, and then I'll let you have the rest for homework. Okay. I'm going to do number 1. I'm going to make y 0. I'm going to subtract 1 from both sides. Negative 1 equals x squared plus 8x. I'm going to do a little diagram off to the side. Yep.
So they're always gonna be zeros like that?
I'm literally following my directions right from here. So I have this next to me. See how my paper looks like this? And then I have this next to it. So I know what to do next. So now what do? I've done everything in the first box under the description. What do I do for the second box? I know I've got x squared here, right? And what do I do to the 8x? I divide by 2. So that's why I got 4x and 4x, right? So that means I must have x, x, 4, and 4. So this missing box is going to have to be 16. Now what do I do with that 16? Good. Add it to both sides. You guys got it. Good. 16 minus 1 is?
15.
What is x squared plus 8x plus 16 factored? X plus 4. It tells you right here. It's right there. That's where I'm getting that from. We already did that.
That's it?
X plus 4. Yeah, I'm just getting this from right here. Okay? Now what do?
Square root of
Square root it. So the square root of 15 equals x plus 4. And how do I get x by itself? Remember there's a plus and minus in front of there now. Minus 4. So I get negative 4 plus or minus the square root of 15 equals x. Okay, remember you have the steps written down. You have these 7 to do and your study guide.
All seniors that signed up to paint a senior brick